Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to Preservice Chat. It is great to have you again with us. Today, I just met Rick just a few minutes ago as we're broadcasting this, and I am excited for him to be able to tell his story. Rick, could you tell us a little bit about this organization that you're a part of? I'm not even going to attempt the name. I told you I would. I'm not going to. But your organization is all around the care of creation care. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and this organization? And yeah, I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, so A Rocha is the name, A space R-O-C-H-A. It's a Portuguese name, and we got that name because it started in Portugal. So 40 years ago or so, there was a British minister and his wife who started a bird observatory in the south of Portugal as Christian mission. So that's the key thing. They went there to study birds as Christian mission. And A Rocha means the rock in Portuguese. So there's a few different layers of meaning to that. Some of them you will guess at. So A Rocha now has projects in about 20 countries around the world, and the Canadian sort of branch is based in South Surrey, though we have projects across Canada, actually. The vision and kind of goal of A Rocha is for the transformation of people and places by showing God's love for all creation. One of the questions you asked in kind of our email exchange was like, what do you dream for A Rocha? I thought that was an interesting way to put it. I think one way to say it is A Rocha dreams that all of God's creatures would thrive and flourish. I'd say that's one of our dreams. And I'd say a second dream we have is that God's church would embrace the care of creation as a key aspect of discipleship. Our understanding of the biblical story is that, one way to summarize it is we're called to worship God, love people, and care for creation. And you really can't, as I understand the biblical story, you can't do one without the other two.
Right.
Not fully, at least. Not in the way that the biblical story calls us to. So we would love it. One of our dreams is for the Christian church everywhere to embrace the care of creation as a kind of a key aspect of Christian discipleship.
That's cool. I like that. So you have this organization. You mentioned it's in multiple countries. What kinds of things are you all about? What are these projects?
Yeah. I mean, it started with the birds, but it's birds, bugs, plants, air, water, soil. All of the above. Like if it's alive and green or like relies on ecosystems, then that's what we do. Now it depends specifically on the particular area that we work. So where I'm at, for instance, there's the Tatulu or the Little Campbell watershed, and we work in that watershed. So among the things we focus on are fish. The Salish sucker is an endangered species that we look at, or the red-legged frogs, amphibians. But if you go around the world, it takes very many different forms. I have colleagues that work in urban London, England, like right next to Heathrow Airport. And I've got colleagues in Ghana that work in the Atiwa Forest, one of the places in the world that has the most endemic species anywhere. So species that exist there and nowhere else. So species conservation and habitat restoration, those would be two key elements of what we do. Kind of around that key core would be environmental education. So whether that's with school kids or with adults, or we have an internship program, these kinds of things. And then particularly here where I'm based in South Surrey, we also have a small scale sustainable agriculture component. And this is growing around the world as well. This is maybe like, okay, I can get the other two parts, but how does that fit? And the fit there is that when it comes to human impact on the planet's biosphere, the single biggest impact is food. So the extent to which we can model a way to grow food that actually builds biodiversity, supports biodiversity, that's actually a conservation act. And then secondly, the obvious one is everybody eats. So, my mom's not so interested in the Salish sucker or the red-legged frogs, but everybody eats. So this is an entry point into conservation for everyone.
Wow. When I went on your website, which I encourage you folks to do as you're checking this out, hit the website. You have a number of different people, lots of people. Do you have volunteer opportunities? how might people, if they're interested, maybe get involved a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we have in Canada, we've got a center here in South Surrey. So I know you guys are on the island. So there's a body of water separating us, but come visit. I mean, the very first thing would be come visit. Like that is the most important thing. Um, but we realize that's not possible for everyone. We do have centers across the country, so there are other couple options. If you come, then there are definitely volunteer opportunities. We have a volunteer day every month. There's ways for people to come and stay for a few days or maybe a week. We have a guest house, for instance. And when people come, they typically get involved in one of our activities. So I've kind of sketched very, very briefly some of those possibilities. For those that can't come to visit, come for lunch, for instance, then there is some online possibilities. So we have a YouTube channel. There's a variety of videos and events, sometimes live events that happen. You get on our e-news, and you'll get tapped into or connect into those opportunities. And we're trying to, especially during COVID, but even beyond that, trying to find ways to connect with people that can't get close to one of our centers. So the online space is good.
Yeah. So people are intrigued. You guys have a heart and a passion, a mission around this. How are you actively maybe getting involved with churches, or are there local, community organizations in the places that you're at? Do you interact with governments?
Yeah, we partner widely. So on the conservation work, for instance, here locally, we're partnered with the local Semiahmoo First Nation. We partner with the municipal governments that are within the watershed that we work, the Little Campbell watershed. We partner with other nonprofits. We write grants to both government or private foundations. We partner with, for instance, a local outfit that works with the Surrey School District. So the partnerships are really wide and diverse. I've lost track of the first part of your question.
No, you've done great. I just was trying to figure out, how do you, this is a big topic that you're.
Yes. Oh, and you asked about churches. Of course, you asked about churches.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as it happens, I'm trying to get together a kind of webinar series targeted at people who want to engage their church with earthkeeping, with caring for creation. So it's meant to be a bit of a, hey, if you have that desire, what are some tips and tricks and maybe some equipping that we can do? So you could look on our website and in our e-news for that. That's coming up in the next couple of weeks, actually.
Awesome. So we're sitting here, as you said, on the island. Maybe we're not quite ready to give up our jobs and move to South Surrey and join.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. There's plenty of creation to care for where you are. This isn't about everybody coming here. It's like trying to get people to care for creation where they are, where God has planted them.
So that's where I was going. We're here. What are some little things? What are some sort of entry-level things that we might be able to enter into that you would encourage a local community like ours?
Yeah, I mean, off the top, there's a couple of things. I mean, beyond the obvious of explore the biblical story and how this fits into discipleship. Okay, there's that. But in terms of practical action, I'd actually say the very first thing is cultivate wonder. So it seems to me that so often we, as adults in particular, lose the childlike fascination with the natural world. My kids were young, they just let them go and they'll go. It's just instinctual. We still have that. We just have to cultivate it. And it strikes me that when we do that, we have this kind of direct interaction, then we are far more likely to attend to the world around us, to the creatures with whom we share our neighborhood. When we attend to them, we might get to know them. When we get to know them, we might actually love them. When we love them, we'll actually care for them. Yeah. So I think cultivating wonder is actually not just a airy-fairy. I actually think that's actually one of the first things we need to do. It also allows us to explore your interests. So you might cultivate wonder in one direction and I might go in another. Right. Secondly, I would say get involved locally. So wherever you are, there are going to be other people that care about the place. Wherever you are, that place matters to all the other people that inhabit that place. Right. Well, get to know them, partner with them. I dare say wherever you are, there will be a watershed group, or there will be a parks group, or there will be a hatchery group, or there will, so on and so on. Show up, get to know them. Say, I care about this place too. Let's do a beach cleanup or whatever the case may be. Let's do a broom pull. Broom is a big issue. Scotch broom is a big issue in Saanich. So like, get involved with them. I think those are at least two. I could say a lot more, but those are at least two places to start.
Rick, this has been great. Yeah, we actually are a church that has tried to be involved in that way.
Perfect.
Has partnered, but we've got a ways to go. And
so
I just encourage everybody to hit the website. Again, it's going to be right there. Rick, thank you very much for joining us today and for sharing your heart for God's creation, the world in which we live. Just love it. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You betcha. Take care, everybody.